Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where in the world you're joining us from. Welcome to our Agentic AI showcase brought to you by our friends at Supermetrics, Striim, and Lumi AI. I'm Brian Mink, co-founder and president of Data Science Connect, the world's largest data and AI community. Today, we're excited to welcome hundreds of attendees from all over the world for an exclusive virtual event showcasing the most innovative Agentic AI solutions through concise 10-minute demos. At DSC, we value your time and have designed this event to provide impactful demos without any unnecessary fluff. Quickly identify solutions that meet your business needs and connect directly with the top leaders of pioneering Agentic AI companies. We're honored to hear from a distinguished group of experts today from some of the leading solutions in Agentic AI. Kaeding, Director of Solutions Engineering at Supermetrics, Levin, VP of Product Innovation at Supermetrics, Bengtson, VP of AI at Striim, and Ibrahim Ashqar, CEO at Lumi AI. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. To make this feel a little more in person, we suggest you add a photo to your profile and include your bio, LinkedIn profile, and other information you want your fellow attendees to see. Next, please take advantage of the Q&A and chat features throughout the webinar. Presenters may address your questions during their allotted 10-minute time slot or respond directly in the Q&A and chat sections after they wrap up. If you're wondering where your organization stands compared to others on your AI journey, check out the poll questions in the right sidebar. And finally, if you'd like to learn more about any of the solutions you see today or book a full demo, check out the calls to action below throughout the webinar from our sponsors. Now, without further ado, I'm excited to kick off our Agentic AI showcase with our first pair of speakers, Kaeding and Levin from Supermetrics. Welcome, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'll go ahead and get our screen sharing up and running, and we will go ahead and jump in. Good morning, good afternoon to those joining us for Data Science Connect. My name is Kaeding, and I have the privilege of being joined by our VP of Product Innovation here, Levin, and we've got an exciting set of demos for you today. But before we get into that, I'll just set the scene with a little bit of context and then turn it over to Alon for some of the real-life demonstrations of what we're going to be talking about. So quickly, we'll talk about the marketing industry's dilemma. We'll talk about how we're helping our customers respond to this reality. We'll give you that live demo, and then we'll show you a sneak preview of our Agentic AI roadmap. So we know at Supermetrics, being in the marketing business for the last 15 years, that the world of marketing is at an inflection point. We see that 88% of teams are being asked to do more with less budget. 70% of marketers are not relying on statistical methods for marketing measurement, but are still using click-based attribution. 75% of organizational CMOs are unable to actually optimize their marketing. And only 13% of marketers, even if they have the tools, are properly using AI in their day-to-day operations. In today's session, we're going to focus on this 13% and how we are going to try to address this by putting tools in the hands of folks who are actually solving these problems on the ground today. Now, if you're thinking, hey, I don't actually work too much with marketing and advertising, maybe this session isn't for me, I'll maybe remind you that based on a recent MIT study, actually about 50% of projects that are happening in the enterprise today are related to sales and marketing. So even if you're not working on marketing or advertising applications today, chances are one of these projects could come across your desk fairly soon. So how are we helping our customers respond to these expectations? It really boils down to two things. One is providing a very strong platform for marketers to build agentic workflows inside of a SaaS platform. And then in addition to that, we're also making an ecosystem play to bring high quality governed data into the tools that our customers already use. So what does this look like in practice? Inside of the Supermetrics SaaS platform that we can deliver to all of our customers, we have agents for insights, building dashboards. We're rolling out alerts agents that can help build connectors to different data sources in their portfolio, and even workflow agents for orchestration. In addition to that, we're meeting customers where they're at with the tools that they're already using in their day-to-day workflow. We have a long history of connecting data with Google Sheets, spreadsheets, BI tools, cloud data warehouses, data lakes, in addition to the more recent features in the AI ecosystem, such as MCP clients, N8N, Gemini Enterprise, Claude, the list goes on. That's our ecosystem play to bring the high quality governed data to users in their day-to-day workflows. So with that, we've set the scene. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Alon for the live demo, and we'll go ahead and kick things off. Alon, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. Let me get started by sharing my screen and show you how the Supermetrics platform looks like when you go and click on data sources. So basically, you can connect multiple data sources, mostly marketing data sources. But then after these sources are connected, you can customize the data, you can manipulate the data, you can sanitize the data. But what I want to demo here today is how we are taking all of this and then through one MCP connector. As you can see here, this is Claude, the web version of Claude. And when I go to settings and then to connectors, I can connect the Supermetrics MCP. MCP, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, is basically kind of a new way to get APIs and standardize them in a way that LLMs like Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini can work with. We are adding a semantic layer and some guidance to help the MCP to help the LLM to work with our data sources. And once I connected the MCP with just a couple of lines, no technical knowledge is required, then I can just open a new chat and then say, "Hi, can you please provide an overview of the ads activity for my Tesoro," that's my brand, my Tesoro, Facebook and Google ads for the past 7 days. Yes. And then we're going to hit enter. This is a live demo. You will see that Claude knows to use Supermetrics. It knows how to use the different endpoints and the different tools that we provided. In a second, you will see how it knows how to discover the available data sources. We can take a quick look under the hood. You see, it actually brought all of the relevant data sources, and now it identified the 2 relevant data sources. It fetches all the relevant accounts. And then if I have multiple accounts, it can join these accounts. And once it has all the information, all the data, this is really important because what we do at Supermetrics, we make sure that your AI tools are getting sanitized, verified data that won't get the LLM Claude or ChatGPT to hallucinate data of its own. This is really important because you need to be able, as marketers, as data scientists, you need to be able to trust your data. Definitely when working with agentic tools, definitely when working with automated workflows. Here you can see how it makes all the relevant calls. And in a second, we will get all the data here. Being mindful of the time, because sometimes those things take time. Let me jump. Oh, wait, there we go. Almost. Let me jump to a conversation I had earlier. Let's go to this one. You'll be able to see that I had a similar conversation earlier. I got the data that I wanted. I also get some breakdowns. I also get some insights. And then you can see here some key insights and analysis of the data. And then I can ask to compare both channels and then also visualize the data, and then I can get something that looks like this. And then I just get an instant dashboard based on whatever I was asking. Efficiency metrics. And of course that I am also able to just talk to the agent, just talk to the LLM and ask to change any scopes and to maybe ask for additional insights or analysis. And basically, it also allows us to do deep research. If I want to use my data as a basis for deep research and also compare it to competitors or to other market trends, I can do the same thing. So the idea here, and maybe let's go back to our initial conversation. All right, yeah, looks like it's struggling a little bit, but we've all seen how it works. So you can use it inside of Claude, and you can also use it inside of ChatGPT, as you can see here. And we make it super easy for you to just connect your data sources in one place, that is inside of Supermetrics, and set some rules, set some transformations, set some blends, and then take everything into your favorite LLM tool like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, and just work with the data, build agentic workflows, build reports, also write summaries for your leadership, write some guidance to the people you support, and everything is being done in a super easy way. And the most important thing is that you can trust the data. Over to you, Evan.
Super. Thanks, Alon. And appreciate that we have just now seen a really exciting example of what that data looks like once it's inside of the tools that many of our team members are actually using day in, day out. We're bringing the data, high quality, sanitized, governed data to our customers to use it where they're at. A bit of a glimpse at where we're going from a Supermetrics perspective. We have underpinning our MCP server. We have an API that actually is what powers all of the integrations to our existing set of destinations like spreadsheets, data warehouses, data visualization tools, in addition to other tools for automation like N8N, Zapier, Make in the future. And any agentic workflows that you're building, of course, can leverage the MCP server with the power of the Supermetrics platform. If this is something you're interested in getting your hands on or learning more about, we have a couple of calls to action. If you scan the QR code here, you'll find a landing page where you can sign up for some big product announcement launches that we're going to be having on November 3rd. So scan that code in order to be the first to hear about what we're launching. If you want to hear about it from Alon and I personally, you can, of course, scan our QR codes to follow us and connect with us on LinkedIn. I believe that's our time, and we'll go ahead and pass the stage over to the next presenter. Thank you very much, everyone.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Great presentation. And if you liked what you saw, book a follow-up call with Supermetrics at the call to action below. Thank you, Evan and Alon. So now I'm going to turn things over to our next presenter, who is Jake Bengtson from Striim. Welcome, Jake.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. Thank you, Brian. And welcome to everyone. So my name is Jake Bengtson. I'm VP of AI Solutions at Striim, and coming to you live from Montana, and excited to talk with you today about some of the things that we're working on here at Striim. So first of all, just to get the elephant out of the room, you're probably wondering, is it Striim? Is it Stream? It actually is pronounced Striim, as you heard me say it. The two I's were on purpose. We didn't misspell the word, but they stand for intelligent integration. So what Striim is a integration platform. So we're all about liberating your data in your various data silos that you have across your organization and bringing them together in whatever data target you really want. So whether that's Azure, AWS, GCP, if it's Snowflake or Databricks, we have connectors built for all of those. And the big thing that we focus on is bringing together a collection of connectors for a variety of data sources. So whether that is like Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server for your operational databases, if you have cloud applications like Salesforce, if you're reading from message queues like Kafka or NoSQL data stores or sensors and devices over MQTT, we have a lot of these connectors built to be able to make it easy for you to get data out of all of these sources and getting it where you need it to go. Now, while it's along the way in that process, we have the opportunity to do some processing. Whether you want to like transform the data, enrich it, filter it, aggregate it. We support a SQL engine to be able to analyze that data on the fly. We also allow you to build your own open processors for completely customized code to do whatever that it is you want to do. And we also support some out-of-the-box agents that we have to make life easy for you today. So you're probably wondering, so data integration product, what is it that you guys have to talk about in the world of AI? So one of the things that we've seen, and actually I think the study was already talked about today, is that there was a recent report that came out from MIT, from the NANDA group, this research paper called State of AI Business. And and it made a lot of buzz because everyone said, oh my gosh, only 5% of Gen AI projects in the enterprise have provided a return on investment. But if you actually read the paper, that wasn't totally true. It was 5% of embedded or task-specific Gen AI projects have provided some type of return on investment. And actually 40% of general purpose LLMs have provided some type of return on investment. So a much better average from a data science perspective. And that's my background, where the past decade is working on even traditional machine learning projects. A 40% success rate is actually pretty amazing for a data science or an AI project. But there's still a lot to be done. There's been a lot of things that happened recently that have made building agentic systems or Gen AI powered systems much more streamlined. And one of those is MCP. And so something that we've seen in the context of that paper, and one of the reasons that it talks about why a lot of these projects haven't been successful, is a lack of real-time context for the agents to act upon, which is really a natural fit for us here at Striim. So what we've observed is that there are a lot of data that agents need that are trapped in operational databases. So this is an opportunity for us to be able to partner with a lot of different organizations to be able to free that data in real time to move it into via sub-second latency into MCP ready zones. So whether you want to move that data from your operational data stores in databases into like a crunchy data, into anything Postgres, AlloyDB, etc., Amazon RDS, we can support that in real time. And we can do that via change data capture. So as data changes in these operational data stores in real time, we can replicate that into a safe data zone that then through MCP, your agents can read from. So you might understand this is a little bit of the data plumbing rather than the actual agentic system that we're talking about today. But I think it's a very important aspect of data that your agents need in order for you to be successful. Something we've seen that's pointed out in that paper is that a lot of organizations were still in experimentation mode. A lot of what we're building is based on data that is stored like in a data lake or a data warehouse. Those data repositories were built with the need for lots of times, like even weekly reporting, not sub-second latency. Once you go past this experimentation phase, if you're using historical data and we can prove out, yes, my agent can get the context it needs, based for this like one example, more and more we're seeing organizations think about, actually, I need this data to be in real time. So this is a pattern that we call MCP Agent Lake here at Striim, and we're excited to maybe demonstrate to you today what that really looks like and how it can be valuable for you. So let's pop over into the product itself because we're doing a live demo today. I appreciate the demo before was a live demo, so anything can happen here, but hopefully everything goes good for me. We're going to start out, we're in the Striim product here. We're going to look at an application that I've already built and have running. So this is a process that we have for reading data from Oracle. We're going to be reading credit card transaction data. So you can think of the use case for this is if you're doing something like fraud detection, if we're looking for anomalous patterns within the credit card transactions. One of the things we're going to be looking for in this specifically is if there's a lot of declined credit card transactions, we can detect that on the fly. And all this we're going to be reading from Oracle via change data capture. We're going to be routing that eventually to different tables within Snowflake. So you can see we have 3 different tables in Snowflake that we're writing to. And as well, we actually even have a Slack alert that's going to be sent if some of these types of events are detected. So what's going to happen, we're going to read from Oracle. One of the first things we're going to do as well, as part of this, when you're setting up any type of these data in motion products, there's always the risk that some PII data may make it into your downstream system. So while a credit card number, for example, may be allowed in your Oracle database, Actually, if we're going to be storing that in Snowflake, based on your policies, you may not want that to happen. Now, you can do the best you can as far as trying to make sure you have all the rules in place based on your data governance that you have. But we also provide you out-of-the-box agents that can detect private data in real time. So you can see this Sentinel masking here. What we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be detecting anything that is defined as sensitive. We're going to tag it, and we're going to put some rules around what we want to do with that sensitive data if it's detected on the fly. So you can see for a few of the different data identifiers, we're going to decide to mask that completely. But one of the ones here, credit card numbers, I know there is credit card numbers in this because this is a canned demo. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to mask that partially before it makes it into any of these Snowflake tables. So we're making sure that there's no PII data making it through. Of the flows that are going to happen here on the left, we're going to capture some governance data. We're going to we're going to pull in some metadata, and we're going to create this for audit purposes. And we're going to write that to this sensitive data Snowflake table. In the middle flow here, we're going to be detecting any of these declined credit card transactions. If we detect the declined credit card transaction, we're going to write that to a Snowflake table and have all those together. But as well, we're actually going to send a Slack alert so that we can have like operational teams. They may say if every time we get one, there may be something you want to do. Likely what you would probably do is actually add in one of our anomaly detection agents as well here to be able to say if there's an anomalous amount of declined credit card transactions, we alert someone. But for the purposes of this demo, we're just going to write all those to a Slack alert. And on the right here is we're going to create a fact table. So this is something usually you might do in your downstream data warehouse where, a credit card transaction comes through. I write that to my raw table, and then I join that together with some other information to make it useful. But with Striim, you can actually do that processing on the fly. We can use what's called a continuous query. And this is just a SQL language. You can see what we're joining together on that credit card transaction is information about the credit card, as well as information about the merchant that a credit card was used at. We're going to do a continuous query. So every time a transaction comes through, we're going to read from these other tables, and we're going to create a new fact record, and we're going to write that to Snowflake right here. So what we'll do to be able to get this demo running is that we're going to watch this running on the fly here. I'm going to pull up dbeaver, and I'm going to execute a script where we are going to write in 10,000 transactions directly into this Oracle database in a while loop. So we'll do it over time. And let's see here. There we go. We're running. Oh, I forgot to start the app beforehand. Okay, we're going to start the app first, and then we're going to run it. Oh, we actually have it running and caught some of those. And so you can see, so we have some records running here. I'm going to go through, I'm going to execute that script one more time. While we have this viewing, you'll be able to see as the data flows through, kind of the app flow rate. We're actually seeing that data come through in real time. So this is watching some of those records go through. And you can see the credit card number as it flows through is indeed being masked. So we can make sure that that data is protected. So our agents will not be exposing any information that may get someone in trouble. We're adding additional information about the merchant. So this is all processing that you may do later on within your data warehouse that costs time and money. We can do that right away on the fly. And all that data now is available for us within Snowflake to read. And so with Snowflake and the MCP server that they have, your agents can get access to this operational data in real time and make that useful for them. So if any of this was of interest to you, I know there's a way through the platform here that you can request a demo. We'd be happy to dig into this. Really, this is some of the underpinning capabilities that we're seeing a lot of organizations start to think about as we move past that experimentation experience into actual production. And I think I hit 10 minutes just now. So thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thank you, Jake. Excellent demo. And if you guys liked what you saw, make sure you book a follow-up call with Striim via that link below. So now I'm excited to welcome our next presenter, who is Ibrahim Ashqar, and he is the CEO of Lumi AI. Welcome, Ibrahim.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Let me share my screen. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Ibrahim. I'm the CEO of Lumi AI. Lumi is an enterprise analytics platform that powers the most intuitive chat experience for analytics, enabling both data teams and business users to instantly uncover actionable insights from ERPs, databases, and data warehouses. It's faster, cheaper than having to manually analyze it using SQL or Python. Our platform is already helping organizations like Kroger, Compass Group, Deloitte, along with several mid-sized consumer brands, uncover millions in value across systems like SAP, Snowflakes, and Databricks. And I'm really excited to be here today to explain why business intelligence is broken and to showcase how Lumi's agentic workflows are transforming the way enterprises interact with their data. So the conventional wisdom in the data world has always been focused on centralizing data and building self-service reporting layers. This diagram probably depicts the architecture most organizations have. But despite millions invested in data warehouses and dashboards, companies still complain about having a data bottleneck and waiting days for answers buried in complex systems. Moreover, the term business intelligence is often synonymous with dashboards, but the reality is having more dashboards doesn't mean having more insights. If anything, having too many dashboards just causes confusion and distrust in the data. Now, don't get me wrong, having centralized dashboards is a fantastic starting point, but oftentimes the insights, the real insights, the ones that move the needle, require hours of spreadsheet analysis, and when you hit the limitations of Excel, require the ability to code in SQL or Python. And this is a skill set that's usually reserved by more technical data analysts who are usually just swamped with requests from business teams demanding custom insights as of yesterday. And so this is a big operational problem. To address this, a new standard for analytics is emerging, one where we see the introduction of this agentic layer, an AI data analyst that is connected to your source systems or your data warehouse, understands your business terminology and all the quirks and nuances that may exist in your data model, and where both data teams and business users alike can just interact with it by simply asking questions in plain language. And that's what Lumi's all about, to democratize access to insights by making the process of exploring enterprise data as simple as asking a question. Again, it's faster and it's cheaper than having to manually analyze it. To contextualize, I'll dive into a live demo and we can showcase a few of the capabilities that Lumi can do. So I'll just flip over my screen. And all right, okay. So this is the Lumi platform. There are 4 key modules to note here: the chat, boards, knowledge base, and verifications. Chat is the primary interface where you can ask questions and get answers. Any insight from the chat interface can be pinned onto a board. The knowledge base is the main repository of context that the agents pull from to answer users' questions. Without the knowledge base, the agents would not be able to produce any meaningful output. Verifications is our newest module and allows users to request verification for any AI-generated insights from a human analyst. Let's jump into one example. So this is the first one. I like this because it really showcases a variety of capabilities. Let's dive deeper. This is from a retail data model and assume the persona of a supply planner. So the question is, within PB&A, which items had the largest drop in sales when comparing the first time frame to the second? You can see Lumi retrieves the data and auto visualizes it for you. If you want to hover over to see the data, you can. That's not an issue. If you want to edit the chart, you can. You can also convert it into a table output. That's not an issue. Lumi also summarizes the findings for you, in this case, explicitly calling out that item 1003 had the largest drop in sales. It gives you also clickable follow-ups. And these are just recommended actions, the ability to thumbs up or thumbs down a response. And this is an active feedback mechanism that only reinforces behavior, the ability to add to boards, and the ability to request human verification. Now, if you want to see how Lumi generated these insights, you can show thinking. And this actually shows you what's happening under the hood. It shows you how the agents interact with one another. So the first thing we do is we rephrase the user's prompt. And this is just to ensure a higher quality input to the LLMs, so to speak. We then pull context from the knowledge base. Again, this is just the most relevant pieces of information or any associated memory. So previously thumbs up or thumbs down responses that would be helpful to Lumi's agents in generating the response. We then generate the query. So in this case, you can see a step-by-step explanation in plain language, the assumptions, as well as the actual SQL code that's dynamically generated on the fly. So this isn't, pre-built or anything like that. This is on the fly dynamic. One thing I want to draw your attention to is that when I said PBNA, that's a pretty vague term. What does that mean? But Lumi automatically knew that I was referring to the items that fall under category ID equals to 2. And that's because of the power of the knowledge base. It was able to pull that context from there. And we will demo the knowledge base. Don't worry about that. And you can also see how it includes it in the where clause as well. So it's actually incorporating this nuance in its logic. Cool. So in this case, item 1003 had the largest drop in sales. Lumi's telling us to investigate the potential causes. Why did sales dip? And that's a very reasonable question. And I actually ran that prompt, and we got a response here. I want to draw your attention to this finding over here, where Lumi highlights that stock availability was a major issue in November 2023, with 18 days out of stock recorded. You can also, and it's compared to, basically nothing in previous months. And you can also see the individual, right? You can see a clear spike in the number of out of stock days compared to all previous months. If you want to see how customization looks like, it's fairly simple. So let's say I come in here, I can change the label if I want to, total quantity sold. So it's very dynamic in this case. I can change this from bar to line. I can change it from solid to dashed. I can also add a marker if I want to, and kind of undo and redo as I need to. So again, just showcasing a variety of capabilities here. Lumi's ability to isolate exceptions for you, so identify exceptions and then understand why these exceptions are happening by diagnosing the root causes. If you'd like to share these insights, you can always do that. Share it with anyone on the team and just click share or copy the link, and they'll have it. Okay, moving on. Here's another example that I really like because it showcases Lumi's ability to answer and handle highly custom multi-step questions that traditional BI tools simply can't manage dynamically. And for those who are more technical on the line, really consider the complexity of what's happening here, right? This is essentially a two-part story. First, of the raw materials with high demand, say 70%, top 70%. And second, which of those have the lowest weeks of supply? Now, so this isn't a simple lookup or a pre-joined data set or anything like that. Under the hood, it's performing, and we can kind of see it over here. It's performing multiple CTE logic, generating high quality SQL dynamically and not relying on any predefined metrics or templates. It's really quite incredible, and Lumi doesn't really struggle here. In this case, giving us a report with 5 columns with those with the lowest weeks of supply, as in inventory, but measured in weeks and not units or anything of the sort. You can also ask Lumi to add or remove columns, and it works perfectly fine as well. In this case, we asked it to recommend the replenishment quantity for each of these raw materials with low weeks of supply, and you can see Lumi was just able to add in this extra column to the same number of 39 records that were generated before. And so this really showcases that Lumi is more than capable of building on or iterating on the report that it generated earlier. All right, and so now moving on to the knowledge base. And we're really proud of the agentic workflows, but without the knowledge base, they really wouldn't be too helpful. First thing to note is that there could be multiple knowledge bases in an organization. Users are granted access to a specific knowledge base based on their data permissions. So again, you can control access controls as needed. The first thing you would do is pick a connection, and there's a couple of modes of options here for you. You can have a direct connection to your favorites, whatever systems you want. BigQuery, Databricks, Snowflake, things like that. And if it's an on-prem system that you can't really communicate over the internet, we have a gateway connector as well. But anyways, those are just the options that we have available to you. Once we establish a connection, you can go to the Tables tab to basically pick the tables and fields that you want Lumi to know about. So over here, you can pick and choose the exact tables. And then you can, for each table, pick the exact fields that you want Lumi to be able to query. You can also rename vague columns. So if in the source name it's called NO_, you can create a human readable semantic layer, call this item ID and things like that. You can also see what Lumi sees over here in the table preview. And then you can toggle the meta metrics over here, we call them, to see what properties are automatically captured from each field. That's provided as extra context to Lumi. So things like your min max values, the percentage of null, your the number of distinct records and things like that is all captured here. And you're essentially populating all this context here so that Lumi develops its own understanding of your data model. In this case, understanding that I can join the bill of materials table to the inventory table on item ID. And this is an implicit join condition, so it's implicitly inferring this based on a semantic name. If you want to join, define an explicit join condition, you can very simply. And again, this is all extra context that's made available to Lumi. If you want to see how to add a table, it's fairly simple. I'm just going to pick a random table over here. I actually don't know what this is, so I'll just call it test and test. And what you can see also, you can add table details. Any specific context you want Lumi to know about that table, you can add it in. But for the sake of this example, let's say I brought in these 3 fields. You can see that in the model, this gets already added to the canvas. And then if, let's assume that API integration is actually item ID. So I just give it a human readable label and it automatically joins to my data model. So it's really quite simple to just manage that context about your data model and all the nuances that may exist as well. Moving on to business context, this is just the ability to add in any details, aliases, KPIs that you want Lumi to know about for your business and incorporate it in its logic when answering users' questions. The sky's the limit here. There are so many ways we've seen clients be creative in populating context here, and you can do what you want. Think of it as a reason for doing documentation properly, right? All the tribal knowledge that may be locked up in someone's head, you can document it here, and now it's made available to the agents to consume, and that person wouldn't need to answer that question on their own manually. Moving on to memories. So this is the tab that allows you to control the previously thumbs up or thumbs down responses. So you can see what was previously thumbs up and either commit it into memory or ignore it, depending on your circumstance. But again, just a really good way to give the agents examples of good, do more of good, or examples of bad, avoid the bad. And then finally, a way to manage user permissions. Viewers can only see the knowledge base and query it, whereas contributors can actually edit the context in the knowledge base as well. All right, so in short, the knowledge base just gives you a lot of precision over the context that you want Lumi to know about your data structure, so it can answer the questions with as high accuracy as possible and high quality as possible. It's just a really easy and seamless way to kind of curate and manage that context. Going back to the deck, and to get started, and for those enterprises looking for a low-risk, low-effort way to trial Lumi's capabilities, we do have a pilot program. We offer white glove onboarding services, require about a few hours of effort from your team's time, and we can get up and running within 1 week. If you'd like to enroll, please feel free to reach out as soon as you can, because we don't have too many spots left. And there's always a CTA at the bottom where you can find our request demo page. I encourage you to kind of look through there as well. If you'd like to connect with me personally, here's a QR code. You can connect directly with me on LinkedIn, or feel free to email me at any time. But thanks again for watching, everyone.
Excellent. Thanks, Ibrahim. And thanks again to all of our speakers. If you liked what you saw from Lumi AI, make sure you book a follow-up call in that link at the bottom, download their white paper, and connect with Ibrahim as well. So thank you again to all of our speakers for those great presentations, super interesting demos. So very excited that they were able to come and share those with us today. If you missed any of this webinar or want to rewatch anything, you can refresh the link that you're on currently, and it'll be available just a few minutes after the conclusion of this webinar. We'll also be sending a link to the YouTube video recording available on our YouTube channel tomorrow. Thank you again to all of our speakers and to our sponsors at Supermetrics, Striim, and Lumi AI for making this great showcase possible. And we'll see you all again next time. Have a great one.